Okay. Thank you. Good evening. I'm not in the right place because I moved this for health and safety reasons. Good evening. We've got Lewis Wood here this evening. Yay! Hi, my name's Morag Butler. This is Rosalind Court. And everybody in here, you're all in the raffle. Did you know you're in the raffle? Okay. You could possibly win Lewis's CD or a Who Gives a Crap toilet roll. And this one has jokes on it. Yeah. Special edition. Yeah, you have to pay extra for that. I'm going to sing you a song. People at home, you can be in the raffle if you join in the chat or if you donate to the performance while the performance is actually happening. Then you could be, and I will enter you into the raffle. Otherwise, what else do we need to know? Anything? It's raining a lot. Awful lot of rain. Yeah. Okay. This is a song from the 17th century. Quite positive song for me, yeah, and for folk, really. So. Over the mountains and over the waves, under the fountains and under the graves, under floods that are the deepest that Neptune obeys, over rocks that are the steepest, love will find out a way. Some try to lose him by having him confined. Some do oppose him, poor thing to be blind. But if ne'er so close you lose him, do the best that you may. Blind love, if so you call him, soon we'll find out a way. You may take the eagle to stoop to your fist, or you may inveigle the phoenix of the east. The lioness, you may move her to give over her prey, but you'll never stop a true love. Love will find out a way. Okay, so we all know Lewis is 1/3 of Granny's Attic, but he's a bit more than that. He writes most of the tunes, don't you? And yeah, and he plays more than the fiddle as well. And I'm really looking forward to this. It's his first tour, so let's welcome him onto the stage. Lewis Wood.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. It's lovely to see you all. So yes, as Morag said, this is a bit of fun. I decided at the end of last year to put a few little solo dates together because I've really been enjoying playing solo fiddle music, and I'll be doing other things, of course, tonight. But a lot of what you're going to hear tonight is solo fiddle, and if we're all sitting comfortably, I'll start. Thank you. I should probably mention this is a nicer atmosphere than last night's gig. Last night was a lovely gig. It was a gig in Hampshire where I lived for about 9 years, and it was really, really lovely. But we were playing upstairs in the sort of the function room of a pub, as often these kind of small folk gigs are. And downstairs it was the what they call they have the jam session, which is a bit like a sort of a regular session, but it's somewhere between a session and an open mic, because they have a little PA and you go and you do your spot and everyone joins in and plays along with you. And they assured us that upstairs the room was absolutely, completely soundproofed. No. It was not. It was not. It was they had the speaker underneath a table, which means that it was basically what happens when you do that is the bass just gets completely boosted. So all I was getting was all of that throughout the whole gig, and I didn't have this microphone or anything like that, so I was completely acoustic, and I was battling against that. So this is this makes a very, very, very welcome change. But those are a couple of traditional hornpipes. First one called the London hornpipe, which is where I was playing last night, London. Not last night, 2 nights ago I was playing in London. And then I followed it up with a tune called the Bang Up hornpipe, which was collected in Hampshire. Was in a manuscript, found in a manuscript from Hampshire about 200 years ago. The only place it's ever been found, and it was in a guy called Richard W. Pyle, who was a teenager who played in the probably played in the local band or something, and in the village of Netherwallop, which I still can't quite believe is a real place. But I play some more hornpipes now. I'll do something sort of similar but different, because these are tunes that I wrote myself, and the hornpipe has a rich and varied history, certainly in England, where it started off as a solo dance, often in triple time, then it became a double time dance, and then evolved into several different kinds of English step dancing, which vary depending on where you are in the country. So the hornpipes you play for different kinds of step dancing are different for different places in the country, and that neatly brings me along in a wonderful segue to my solo album. I made this album a couple of years ago, where I wrote original tunes for different sort of regional styles of English step dancing, and basically I'm going to play you some tunes now. I've got three hornpipes from different geographical regions, and you should be able to hear the difference between them, I think. And the first one is called The Suspension of Disbelief, and it was written in the northeast England sort of hornpipe clog tradition, where the tunes are slow, dotted, and very intricate. And then we're going to move on to do two Westmoreland-style hornpipes, which are much quicker and a bit less, sort of quicker and less intricate and a bit more kind of lively. And they're called Kick Down the Door and Kairos. Thank you. So I mentioned this album, and I'll talk a little bit more about it now, and then I'll move on to something else afterward. That I promise. But so a lot of what I was doing was I was sort of going around and talking to lots of step dancers and talking to people from around the country and working out what tunes they like to dance to and what tunes were really specific to their area, what kind of feel were they meant to have, were they meant to be, and what kind of sort of styles were they kind of dancing in as well. And there was this sort of something I sort of knew a little bit about before, and I was sort of wanted to sort of reinforce just to see what sort of they said. But in modern step dancing, there's a massive north-south divide between how it's done. In the north, the northern style, so Lancashire clog, Westmoreland clog, northeast clog, they're all danced in clogs, and they all dance specific steps. So they go in, they know exactly how long they're going to play for, they know exactly what they're going to do. It's a planned dance. Often it's a competition dance, so they'll be doing, if they're doing a competition, say, they'll be doing the same dance as everyone else, and then the person who just does that dance the best wins. But in the south, it's completely different. Certainly now, it's a much younger revival, and it's all improvised. So people just do whatever the hell they want, and it's all about community, and it's all about having fun and about sort of bringing everyone together. Something else I realised is that this is an entirely new divide, and historically that would have been nothing of the sort. All the improvisation and the community stuff that happens in the south happened in the north. They danced in. I know that a lot of Westmoreland dancers danced in hard shoes as opposed to clogs. Basically, what I'm trying to say, and then the south, there were loads of records of competitions happening in the south. What I'm trying to say really is that it's all nonsense. It's all completely fabricated, and these sort of historical divides of, oh, they definitely did it like this in this particular village, and down the road it was completely different. It's all nonsense. It's all rubbish, and that doesn't just apply to this, it applies to all folk traditions and all folk revivals. Everything you know is wrong.
That's controversial.
It's very controversial. No, it's these things are always a bit more nuanced than everyone says. But having said all that, I'm going to do a tune that I wrote in that southern. It's a jig tune that in the southern improvised tradition. It's called The Appreciated Violin, and it was written because somebody at Bromyard Folk Festival accidentally spilt beer on this fiddle. Yeah, it's very... And the most disappointing thing about it was when I played it again, it didn't actually sound any better. The Appreciated Violin. Nice to see you. Thank you very much.
I'm just going to interrupt for a minute just to speak to people at home to say if you possibly are in a position to donate something towards the putting on of this concert, it would be absolutely brilliant. And I think possibly the equivalent of the pint of beer that was spilt over the fiddle, I think would be a really good idea. If you could send us a fiver, that would be lovely. But anything, honestly, would be much, much appreciated. If everybody who watched sent us £1, it would be fantastic. Lewis, where can people get your CDs?
Okay, the CDs are available from the shop on the Granny's Attic website. Granny's Attic are the band I play with most of the time. So that's grannysatic.org.uk/shop, I think. And you can get all the CDs. You can get my solo CD, the Footwork CD, all the albums I made with Granny's Attic, plus a bunch of other things that my other bandmates have done. Lots of stuff. Absolutely lots of CDs, and if CDs aren't your thing and you'd rather a digital download, you can get that on Bandcamp. The album is Footwork. I am Lewis Wood. There you go.
Great. That's lovely. Thank you. Okay. You can carry on now. I'm going to go away.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's it. Done my bit.
Yes. Please remember to donate. This is a really, really fantastic venue, and it's things like that that really help. Talking of albums, I'm going to do one from an album that's not in the Granny's Attic shop, or not in the shop yet, because it's still being made. I'm making an album with my friend Helen Gentili, who plays clarinet. We mostly play European dance music, so sort of the bal folk kind of stuff, so lots of French stuff, a little bit of Breton stuff, and some sort of Scandinavian, Swedish, Norwegian stuff. Is anybody familiar with that kind of thing? Sort of the bal folk repertoire. It's a bit like sort of the continental European equivalent of Ceilidh, but instead of having jigs, polkas, hornpipes, and maybe the occasional waltz, they have lots of different tune types, and each one has a corresponding dance. You have schottisches, you've got waltzes, you've got polkas, you've got bourrées, polskas, slang polska, all the Breton, andro, hantadro, loads and loads and loads and loads of different kind of tune types. And I'm going to play you a mazurka that I wrote, which is I originally wrote it on the fiddle, and on the album it'll be fiddle, clarinet, and a little bit of harmonium. But I decided for this tour I'd do a version of it where I played guitar. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, those were. Thank you. Those were a couple of tunes from. Those are tunes that ended up in the live show that I made for Footwork, which I did a few of in the last couple of years, and I've got one coming up in about a month or so. And basically, I turned the album into a live show, and I got live dancers in to do all the tracks from the album, but I fleshed it out with a couple of other original tunes, and those were two of the ones that ended up on the show that aren't on the album, which are basically they're both opportunities for the dancers to show off a little bit less about the sort of the a bit less about the sort of the history and the sort of the dance styles, and more about just sort of letting them go wild a little bit. And I've been enjoying playing them on the tour. They're a little bit different each night, which is great. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two more for this half, because the last one, and I'm going to do that because the last one I'm planning on doing is quite long. Does that work? Does that add up?
Well, we were going to do two and then have the raffle and then one more.
Two, then the raffle, then one more. I think
Would that work?
we can try. I'm just trying to think what to do, because one of them is very long.
All right, okay. Well, why don't you do the very long one, then the raffle?
I'll do the long one and then the short one to finish. Cool. We'll do three traditional tunes now. Three traditional tunes in the key of G major. The first one is a traditional English tune called Jack the Horse Courser's Hornpipe, which I found in a book called John of the Green, The Cheshire Way, which has become a bit of a classic book in the last 20 years or so, sort of tunes from the northwest of England, partly Cheshire, but not just. A lot of the tunes are 3/2 hornpipes, lovely tunes, but this is not. This is just a really, really lovely tune, and it was compiled by a man. The book was compiled by a guy called John Offord, who lives in Brixton and is probably the authority on sort of 18th century northwest of England tunes. And a really, really fascinating guy, and wrote brilliant books. And the second one is one's a tune called it's a tune called The Downfall of Paris, but it was originally a French revolutionary tune, which then, in the Napoleonic era, became a march, at which point the British and basically every other army who heard it nicked it because they liked it so much. And then they called it The Downfall of Paris after the end of the Napoleonic Wars, which is a little bit cheeky, I think, but there you go. And then I'll finish off with a tune from Ireland, from sort of the Ulster region, called Tripping Down the Stairs. Thank you.
It's raffle time. Somebody should have told you it's not physically possible to play like that.
No, I see. Okay.
Can you pick 2 out, please?
2 out. Okay. Here's one.
Right. Ooh, Joe Dilks. Ooh, hey, you've won a CD.
Very nice. And the next one is another one. There you go.
David Kirk. David Kirk, you've won the low roll. Hey, fantastic. One more tune from Lewis Wood. Hooray.
Lovely.
Yeah, and then we'll have a break.
Are we
you
going to
come
do
and
the...
get your CD at the break, yeah?
At the break,
Yeah.
okay. So, I'll do one more to finish the half off, and, well, the half for the people who are in the room, and this will be for the people on the internet. This is my last one. And, I'll finish this one. So, as I mentioned very briefly, I play in a band called Granny's Attic, and one of the we do play tunes in it. I write a lot of the tunes that we play. We also do some traditional tunes as well, but we do also do a lot of songs, and we do a lot of songs. The reason why we do it is because we have 2 absolutely fantastic singers in the band, and it's an honour to play for them. Tonight, though, you're not going to hear either of those singers. You're going to hear me sing, which is very nice. So I don't do a lot of it. It's not something I It's not something I sort of. It's not something I really advertise myself as. Really, it's I'm sort of a tunes guy, really. But I'll sing the odd song, and I'll do one, and I'll do one for you tonight, and I'll do one for the people who are watching at home. And it's I got it off from an album that I was playing on as a session musician about sort of 6 years ago now, and I rediscovered the album. I sort of forgot all about it, and then I sort of remembered that I was on it, and it was and the reason why is because well, it's made by Bob and Jill Berry, who used to run the Chippenham Folk Festival. They're very good. Have they come here before? They're very good. They're really good. They're really good. They don't do a lot of gigs, to be honest, but every now and again they'll perform. But they're really brilliant, and they did an album of songs, and the album's not entirely this, but most of the album is songs collected by Alfred Williams, who worked in what he termed as the Upper Thames. And the Upper Thames is I think it's mainly the Wiltshire area of the Thames, but possibly creeping into Oxfordshire. But I say that because I've now moved to Oxfordshire, and I moved not very long ago, and I'm on the I'm about a 5-10 minute walk away from the Thames. Although after today, it's probably about a 2-minute walk from the Thames. And it's very and so I'm not entirely sure I class myself as being on the Upper Thames. I don't quite know. I don't think it was quite defined exactly where the Upper Thames finishes. I might be in the Middle Thames. But I thought I would, considering that's where I live, I thought I'd sing a song from that album. And this is a song. Words were collected by Alfred Williams. The tunes were never really collected in these things. So Jill Berry wrote the tune for this. And I'll finish it off with one more tune from the Footwork album. That's called 10 Things to Do in August, Part 3. If you want to find out about parts 1 and 2, they're on the CD, but I'm not going to play them live. You see, it's a marketing stunt. You see, I'll give you a taster. Anyway, thank you all for coming along. This is a song called "That Young Man from the Country" or "No Followers." When first I went to service, the nursemaid's place I took was me and Jane the housemaid and Margaret the cook. We all of us had followers, but the best of all the three was that young man from the country as kept company with me. When first thing he came in to tea, the snow was on the ground. Next morning master's overcoat was nowhere to be found, and yet I saw it on the peg when I sat down to tea with that young man from the country as kept company with me. Next time he came for dinner, things were lying all around, for Jane was very busy and was Margaret's Sunday out. 2 silver forks were stole that night, but no thief did I see, nor that young man from the country has kept company with me. He came again and yet again, how often I can't say, and things kept disappearing in a most unusual way. We never knew who took him, neither Jane nor cook nor me, nor that young man from the country has kept company with me. One day a policeman came for me, my evidence to give. I never will forget it if the longest day I live. In the Old Bailey I did see condemned for villainy was that young man from the country has kept company with me. 'Twas he who stole the forks and spoons, 'twas he the coat was took. I lost my place next morning, so did Jane and so did cook. Young women all take warning, don't let followers into tea. They'll treat you like the young man from the country treated me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
People at home, you're going away now. You can do whatever you want. You can put the kettle on or open that bottle or whatever. Pour some more. But I'd like to thank, please, Jeff Turner on the door, Roger, John, Chris doing the cameras because Phil's off doing something else this evening, and Una at the bar, and Lizzie in Galashiels posting like mad, and Jodie doing publicity. Thank you, all of you. Remember to buy the music. Keep people in clothes and train tickets and stuff like that. Oh, we don't have anything next week because we're having a week off. On April the 11th, we have Bella Gaffney here, one of the Magpies, but she's also doing a solo tour. She's great. On the 13th, we've got the Margate Songbook, which is the project that we've been doing here. So we'll have lots of songs and loads of performers here that day. And then April the 18th, Faye Heald, woohoo, fantastic. And the 25th, Jerry Colvin, very popular, who's going to be singing songs about St. George and Shakespeare. Yay. So that's good. This Sunday there's dancing here. If you want to do French dancing, there's dancing here. And classical open mic next on April the 10th. April the 10th. Yeah, that's great. But we have to say thank you to Lewis Wood for the people
Thank you very much.
My name's Maureen Butler. This is Rosalind Court. And we have to say that this week, one of our very good friends, Sam Grant, unfortunately died, and I'd like to dedicate this program, this live stream, to Sam, because she was such a good support for live music, and she came here and sat over there such a lot, and she's left a big hole in Margate. See you on the 11th. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Mum.